sometimes in life you got to know when to walk away, and can never underestimate your enemy. There's a great lesson like that in life. I've definitely had my own experiences where I couldn't walk away. I definitely suffered the consequences of that. For example, when it comes to making money in the markets, when it comes to investing, you're up 10x, 100x, but the greed kicks in and you feel euphoric, you feel like you got the Midas touch and you just can't walk away, and then boom, it's all taken out like a rug that's swept out from underneath you. And you're sitting there wondering like, why the hell didn't I just walk away when I was up? And it's just, we all, no one's different, man. We all have that greed in us that makes us just want to keep going and going and going. And sometimes you have to know when to stop. Sometimes the thing that gets you there is not going to be the thing that keeps you there when you think about it, right? So when it comes to investing, from my own personal experiences, sometimes being really aggressive, unhealthy leverage, just a massive tolerance for risk can get you there. It can get you some really big wins, man. And those wins are euphoric. However, when you get there, you have to change your strategy. That's what I've learned in life and my experience doing what I do. But you have to change your freaking strategy. What got you there is not going to keep you there, is what I'm saying. So yeah, life's all about strategy. We all have a level of ignorance, arrogance, and hubris, and you have to really be thinking with a higher level of power. And you have to know that we all have these emotions running through us. But at the end of the day, you're human. The odds don't give a fuck about you, man. The odds don't give a shit about you. They just don't. And it's like that with a lot of things in life, Many people, I used to always hear about successful business people that ended up becoming complete failures in life. And they always hang on this one thing. They had success in business. And then when it went belly up, they left all their money in their business. And I used to think, how can you go from making millions of dollars to back to being broke? And it's quite understandable. And some people never recover from that. Some people absolutely. They never recover from that and go back to making the millions again or being successful again. And there's another lesson in life, man. When someone offers you money, you take it. So if the market gives you 100x, you freaking just take your money, stay the hell out of the markets. So the same thing happened with Isaac Newton in the South Sea bubble. I think the 1700s. Isaac Newton, you could say, is a pretty smart guy. You're probably not as smart as him, right? And he made a lot of money in the bubble, right? And then he got out after the races, right? But then he got allured back in the markets, because markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So you can imagine that, right? You take your money out and it's still going crazy, and you think, oh, I mistimed the market. I should have crashed by now. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe there is some more left in the market. Then you go back in and then you get washed out. And you think, man, I had the money on the table and it didn't walk away, right? And there's a lesson in that, because everyone thinks they're smarter than they are. And sometimes in life, you just have to be humble and realize you're just a hairless ape. And you really don't know shit at the end of the day. And the world does not give a shit about you, okay? The arrogant nature, you always come across those people and they say things like, oh yeah, everything happens for a reason. And it's like, what? It's like, you just told me you're a narcissist. You really think like the world is just moving for you. Oh, the world changed its course just for you. You're a fucking narcissist, mate. You're a narcissist. And it's always the guy that just lives up, doesn't think practical or logical about life and thinks, oh yeah, everything happens for a reason, man. Yet those people are always broke as shit. They have no success in anything in life, right? Whatever, right? So yeah, look, man, when the market offers you money, you take it and run. Because if you go back in, you don't realize how lucky you were. And the odds, if you go back to get more, the odds are not on your side. the odds are not on your side, man, right? So I always remember this business story that I got told by a businessman, a successful property developer back in the day, and it has always stuck with me, and it's been great advice, right? So on the Sunshine Coast, there was so much development going on probably like 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. So much development going on. Property developers are coming in, they're buying up beach shacks and building big high rises, and they're making millions and millions of dollars. And what they found was that there'd be some guy that owns a beach shack, right? Small little lot. And they offer him a ton of money. And the guy's arrogant, ignorant, naive, typical jackass, bogan Australian, thinks he knows better, and he doesn't know better because he makes the worst decision of his life, right? So he decides not to sell because he thinks it's going to be worth more money when they build all around him. He thinks his property value is just going to go up and up and up and up. And you do have a case for that in some circumstances, for sure, right? But not like, just hear me out. So what the developers would do, they go, fine. They would buy the house next to his. They'd buy all the houses around him, right? And then they would just build up these massive high rises around his crappy little house. And now his house is absolutely worthless because you can't build shit on it. The payday he could have got, he'll never get again. Because all you can build on his crappy little lot right now is like what, a 3-car park space, or some like, it's just not worth buying to even put a small development on. There's no money in it. Yeah, and sure, the value of the initial land will go up a little bit, but he'll never get that payday that he could have got. And that story has always stuck with me because I've seen that so many times. You drive past and like, why is this small little house here with a big high rise around it? It doesn't make sense, right? So there's a lesson in that, man. When you get offered the money, take the money and run, like, because the odds, the way I see it, the odds of life are stacked so against you. I mean, I've gone through enough shit. I've had enough experience in life now where I know, like, you know, the world, what can go wrong will absolutely go wrong, for sure. Yeah, especially when everything seems to be going so right. You just can't imagine. You always have to have in the back of your head that everything can just turn upside down like that. So you got to be careful. And same with Maduro, man. Now he's sitting in a jail cell and he's probably thinking like, shit, I should have taken the money, man. I underestimated my opponent. I got arrogant, full of hubris. And he's suffering the consequences for that. So there's a lesson in that for all of us, man. There's an absolute lesson for that in all of us. So yeah, man, if you're up on your investments, take the money and run, man. I mean, depending on what your strategy is. But life does not give a shit about you. If you lose your money, life doesn't care. Okay, this is not how the world works. The world doesn't give a shit about little old you, okay? But yeah, most people are narcissists, and they have that. They really think the world's out to support them and give a fuck about them, and those people always live shitty lives. They're the type of guy that will become the docile little meandering little beta male provider for a bitch that doesn't give a shit about him, and he still thinks he's the man. Now you're a fucking loser, buddy. Don't like you're a loser, okay? Dumb fuck. So when you're up and the money's on the table, walk away.